Hello, greetings, everybody. My name is James. I am from the internet, and today we are going to be talking about the partisan pandemic. Now, for more than a year, there has been a specific subsect of people, both in the government and in media, who've been going out of their way to politicize the coronavirus pandemic. Whether it be that the virus was weaponized, or the virus was created in a lab, or it solely came from China, or it's a bioweapon, or it's a tool to get everybody to inject a microchip into their body, even though all of those people voluntarily walk around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with a device in their pocket that has a GPS built into it. It would seem that everybody was okay with politicizing this virus to advance themselves, to get more clicks, to make more money, to get more donations, to get more votes, to win bigger elections. Everybody was fine doing it. They were totally okay with it. But then a funny thing happened. Turned out that all the people who got vaccinated got a whole bunch of protection from the new strains and mutations of the coronavirus that, of course, predictably mutated and grew in pockets where nobody wore masks and nobody got vaccinated. Now, it has been widely reported and titled by media, both left and the right, this second wave, as a pandemic of the unvaccinated. So briefly, what I would like to do today is show you what it looks like when those people start trying to quickly paddle in the other direction, so that they don't kill off all their donors and supporters. Get ready because, this one's a doozy. Here we go. So today, let's start off with a quick spread of articles from around the internet so you know what the larger field looks like and how this is all being reported and pushed out and politicized and marketed by publicists and the people who want to be noticed for changing direction now. With supporters dying, Republicans swing to supporting COVID vaccines. From the Hill, DeSantis urges public to get vaccinated, quote, "These shots are saving lives." From the New York Post, Mitch McConnell warns of return to 2020 if COVID vaccine rates don't increase. Hey boys and girls, I just wanted to let you know that vaccines, they're really cool. Some might even say poggers. So listen to Uncle Mitch Turtle when he tells you vaccines are good for you. Okay, boys and girls, I'll see you out at the cinema this weekend. Let's get some popcorn. From Axios, prominent Republicans find new enthusiasm for COVID-19 vaccines. From NBC News, as GOP supporters die of COVID, the party remains split in its vaccine message. And another one from the Hill, Biden pokes at Fox hosts, quote, "They've had altar call on vaccines." So you can all see how this is going, right? The public perception arc that's being played by outlets and the media and consulting firms who work for a lot of these news hosts and publicists. This is a concerted effort. Why? Let me show you. Republican vaccine shift too late to halt COVID surge. Starting a couple of weeks ago, reports were leaking out showing that the overwhelming majority of people who are now being hospitalized for COVID were people who had been completely unvaccinated. Further reports and more data has continued to show that people who are vaccinated, even if they do contract COVID now, including one of the new Delta strains, the effects are a lot milder and people don't have to be hospitalized or placed into a medically induced coma so they can be intubated. And this caused a lot of concern because places where people aren't vaccinated are getting more and more ICU cases. And this is happening predominantly in, quote, red states with conservative Republican legislatures. The vaccine drive has yet again taken the lid off the fundamental political divisions in the United States that remain raw after ex-President Donald Trump prioritized his political prospects over public health guidelines last year. some conservative commentators and politicians have falsely accused the Biden administration of trying to forcibly inoculate Americans against their will and dismiss the scientific advice of government experts. There are many reasons why Americans will not get vaccinated, including a belief that the virus is not that bad, the hope that rural lifestyles make catching COVID less likely, and general distrust of government experts. But generally, the least vaccinated states that are most at risk amid the current resurgence of COVID-19 were won by Trump in 2020, and where Republican state and local leaders have been most resistant to social distancing measures. This is what we call a marketing conundrum. The very same tropes about COVID. Masks are face diapers. Getting vaccines are a liberal conspiracy. Social distancing is, just something that weak people do, and it's antithetical to freedom. Marketing that for a year to have political success was great for people who had elections in 2020. However, the overwhelming majority of people now contracting, being hospitalized, and dying from COVID are those very same supporters of those very same politicians. Literally people who've been told for the last year and a half that the whole thing is a hoax or that it's a libtard conspiracy to take away your freedom. Well, after like a year and a half, those people are like, I'm not getting a fucking vaccine. Fuck that. The former president, despite claiming rightful credit for his administration's role in developing highly effective vaccines, did recommend to his supporters in Arizona at a rally this weekend that they get their shots. But he also showed that he was unwilling to spend political capital on an issue that might put him at odds with the base voters on whom he relies for a comeback. Quote, I also believe in your freedoms 100%. If you don't get one, it's cool. I understand why you wouldn't get vaccinated. Trump further sabotaged the public health effort by claiming that the reasons people were not taking advantage of it was because of his successor. Quote, because they don't trust the president, people aren't doing it. That's right. People who just for some godly unknown reason don't trust Joe Biden have decided that they're not going to get a vaccine, even though Donald Trump has told them that he's the one who created the vaccine. Literally, like Walter White, like in his bathtub in the White House, Donald Trump is just like, hey, look, I made a vaccine. And they're still not getting it. You know why? Because President Trump has spoiled the well. He spent so long talking about how everything the Democrats have their hand in is evil and a plot and a conspiracy and it's all Marxism and it's all communism and it's all Black Lives Matter. That's it. It's over. In their head, all these people here when you say vaccine is Black Marxists. The long-term damage that Trump and all of his sycophants and acolytes who wanted the clicks and the votes last year, yeah, they've been doing such a shit job that even Biden, that's right, Joe, I almost forgot he was President Biden, literally crawled out of the woodwork to do a little dunking of his own because that's how bad it's gotten. Last week, President Joe Biden accused Facebook of killing people by hosting anti-vaccine propaganda on its platform. Anthony Fauci, the White House chief medical officer, on Saturday said media networks, which have pushed vaccine skeptical views, have played a key role in discouraging many to get a shot. In fact, several surveys have found a clear partisan divide in willingness to get vaccinated, with the states where vaccination rates are the lowest among the most conservative in the country. Once again, highly conservative, highly Republican state houses spent a year and a half telling all the people in their state that the virus was either a hoax or a horrible weapon from China, and that vaccines are just the government's way to try to control them, and that masks are face diapers for slaves. Now, all of a sudden, after a year and a half, oh, wait, hold on. Only unvaccinated Republicans are dying now? Maybe we should change our message. I don't know. Some of Fox News' top-rated hosts, including Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham, have for months been encouraging Americans to question the safety of vaccines, misrepresenting the views of public health officials, and skewing data in their arguments. Critics, as far back as February, said the campaign of misinformation was likely a bid to damage the Biden administration and boost ratings by stirring paranoia about plots by liberal and scientific elites. That's the Jews. That means Jewish people. And now, very quickly, I want to give you a more granular breakdown of a specific instance so you can see just how bad it is in detail as I read it to you in real time. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says states' conservative leanings account for low vaccination rate. You want to see the new excuse train? Here it is. This is the most excuses any politician could possibly squeeze into one tiny little speaking appearance. Quote, why is our vaccination rate lower? We're a very rural state. We've had a lot of resistance. It's a conservative state. Sometimes conservatives are just hesitant about the government, and we've just got to counteract that by getting better information to them and building confidence. I've learned that it's not what the government tells you, it's what your trusted advisor, your medical doctor, or somebody that you trust tells you. And that's the best persuasive technique we can use to change those attitudes. So, to confirm, the same conservative state governments who know very well and like to tell people very often that governments do things like set up the Board of Education so that they teach Black Marxism to people, apparently know that government actually does have and hold a large sway over the majority of their populace. The root of the problem is that all these politicians spent the last year and a half screaming about masks and social distancing and vaccine, and just like Donald Trump, they did as Donald Trump did, and they spoiled the well. And now all the water they're pulling up is filled with Republicans who have got the coronavirus, no vaccine, and are headed to an ICU. They are doing too little, too late, and they're only doing it now because they realize that too many of their own constituents and supporters will die. The ratio of dead people being Democrats and Republicans, which was once very okay for them, is now no longer palatable because upwards of 99% of all the people in the ICU vote Republican. Hutchinson also said that resistance to the vaccine has hardened in certain elements because of false information and myths. Oh, I wonder where all the false information and myths came from over the last 2 years. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who has had total and complete control over what health advisories are and are not released by his own state's Department of Health, which is responsible for maintaining the public's health and public well-being. As I go into these town hall meetings, someone said, don't call it a vaccine, call it a bioweapon. And they talk about mind control, Hutchinson said. Well, those are obviously erroneous. Other members of the community correct that. Oh yeah, it's not Asa's fault, it's not the government's fault, it's your fault because you surround yourself with your neighbors who apparently have listened to all this messaging, on Facebook or on the tweeters, or listening to Donald Trump's speeches, or going to Marjorie Taylor Greene rallies, or hanging out with Lauren Gunbert in her gun bar in Gunnington, Colorado. Yeah, maybe they picked up some of this stuff from there. So what does all of this mean for you, the average viewer at home? Well, if you're vaccinated, it means you have about a 99% chance of not going to the hospital, ending up in the ICU and dying, even if you do somehow contract the new Delta variant. However, it means if you actually give a crap about the people next to you, the people in your lives, the people in your workplace, the people in your neighborhood, you're going to do the responsible thing, and you're going to voluntarily wear a mask, and you're going to social distance, and you're going to continue doing this because a whole bunch of other people won't. Then again, those people have spent the last year and a half being heavily indoctrinated, lied to, and marketed to. So, get your vaccine, wear your mask, and sit back and watch and wait and see as Trump and Hutchinson and DeSantis and all their sycophants try to paddle the boat around and do the 180 in time to keep enough of their constituents alive to maintain their posts in the government in the next series of elections. Until next time, my name is James. I am from the internet and I'm out. Peace.